Welcome to this week's episode of Frontier and Center. I'm Gene Munster. This is where we discuss frontier tech more broadly and then highlight one of the companies within the Deepwater Frontier Tech ETF. As far as the broader theme around frontier tech is that the trend continues to be positive. Year to date, the LOUP ETF as a benchmark for frontier tech is up 9.8%. That compares to the NASDAQ being up 6.8%. And so since inception, LOUP is up 82%. That was back in the summer of 2018. Next, we're going to shift to focusing on one of the companies within the ETF. And this week, we're going to talk about TTWO, Take-Two Interactive. If you're under the age of 30, there is a high probability that you have played one of their games. Of course, they're best known for Grand Theft Auto and NBA 2K, along with Red Dead Redemption. They also bought Zynga a few years ago, but this is a gaming publisher. It's a $26 billion market cap company. Over the past year, the stock is up 38%, and that compares the NASDAQ up about 32%, so it's done slightly better. So just drilling down deeper into what this company is all about and the reason why it's in the ETF is that we believe that from a time spent perspective, a value and entertainment perspective, gaming will continue to be an important layer and will be gaining increased usage of our time. And when we think about the key publishers, there's only really two left. After Activision's acquisition from Microsoft, that leaves EA and Take-Two as kind of the sole publishers. And the Take-Two story over the past few years has been muddled. They bought Zynga, the mobile gaming company, at probably the worst time. It was at the peak of the everything bubble, and sales were quickly drifted lower. They overpaid, and once the pandemic started to unwind, so did the adoption or the use of some of their mobile games. And so what we saw is a company that's been challenged on the top line over the last couple years. And one of the key questions from investors is when will the mobile business, which is half of their overall business, start to grow again? And the answer is in the next year, we'll start to see growth again. From the highest level, this company's business last year is basically flat and is expected to be up about 35% next year. I think it actually can grow even faster than that. So this huge uptake. And for those of you who know Grand Theft Auto, you know what I'm going to say next is an upgrade coming, Grand Theft Auto 6. This is a big one, about as big as it comes in the gaming world. The last time it was updated, at least the core engine, was in 2013. That will be about 12, 13 years in between upgrades. Just a lifetime, unprecedented span between upgrades there. That obviously is going to be positive for demand when that does come out. It is worth noting that the game hasn't been stale for the last 13 years. They have been doing these updates in terms of service packs and also adding new content that you can purchase, and that's been kind of moving the business along. They typically sell about $600 to $800 million a year and some of that additional content, which would be like, for example, purchase a car in Grand Theft Auto or an apartment, maybe an airplane, and that has kind of moved the business or kept it going. But the big picture here is pretty straightforward, is that there's only two publishers out there, and Take-Two has the biggest biggest upgrade coming in gaming history next year, which really gets down to the pressure point within Take-Two, at least over the next year, is going to be what is the anticipation going to be? How excited are investors going to get in anticipation? I think we'll see multiple expansion. We typically do going into these cycles. And then ultimately, when the rubber hits the road, those first 4 quarters of the release, how's it going to do? And typically, over the first 4 quarters of an upgrade, we have to go back again to 2013, but they sold about 40 million copies over the first 4 quarters, and we expect them to exceed that. So at Deepwater, this company is, in our view, positioned to have upside to numbers next year, not only because of the underlying strength of the initial upgrades, but also this is going to be a shot of adrenaline when it comes to their content, their in-game content. And so that should also increase, call it going from around 600 million this year to probably 1.2 billion in that first full year of Grand Theft Auto 6. And so two positives here. One is mobile returning to growth, half the business, and the other is finally we get to see Grand Theft Auto 6. If this is the first time you've heard about it, I guarantee you will be hearing about it a lot over the next 9 months. I'm not a gamer, but I'm excited to read the reviews and see the sales on this move in the right direction. So on behalf of this week's episode of Frontier and Center, I'm Gene. Bye for now.